Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Amy.
And I'm Sarah, and today we're going to be discussing The Stars Above Us by Maggie Gates.
The first few minutes we're going to do a brief review of this story without any spoilers, then we're going to jump into a deeper book discussion which is going to include lots of spoilers. As always, we're going to let you know before we do shift into that deeper book discussion.
That's right. So before we jump in, Amy, go ahead and tell us a little bit of what The Stars Above Us is all about.
This is a military romance about a woman who settles onto an army base as a war correspondent, finding herself surrounded by bullets, grenades, and a grumpy army captain with a chip on his shoulders. This story has pranks, brotherhood, and restoration. Sarah, what did you think about The Stars Above Us?
Okay, well first, I am a sucker for a military romance.
Me too.
I gravitate towards them. A lot of times when I read them, they're more historical military romance. This is not historical, even though it's like 20 years ago roughly, but that's not historical because we lived through that. So, no, I loved these characters. I was instantly hooked. I was very intrigued by just anything that has to do with the military aspect of it, and her being a correspondent, you know, it was just, the storyline was so intriguing to me. I was pulled right in from the beginning. What about you?
Me too. I feel like military romances are the dark horses of reading for me because they always sneak up and surprise me with how much I love them. I forget about how much I love them until I read them. And I do. I love them. They're some of my favorite reads, but I don't read them a lot. They're always just heartfelt and emotional. This one is, of course, they always do the trick at pulling at my heartstrings. This one does that. So add in this grumpy male main character, and you folks have yourselves a smash on your hands.
Yes.
So I read this one in a day. It's fast moving, it's engaging, and it definitely pulls on all the emotions.
Yeah, that's
All
a
right,
good one.
let's get into our ratings. Angst.
Okay, angst. So I probably could rate this higher, but I just wasn't, even with it being a military romance, you think it would be super high. Mine is only 1.5.
Okay.
I feel like that.
I was higher than you.
Okay. Maybe I should bump it up, but I didn't feel super
You
like.
weren't stressed?
No, I wasn't stressed. Just a little bit.
I gave it 3. Which is a little high probably for the story now that I'm thinking through things. But I gave it a 3 because it's a war story,
Right.
and there's definitely some high stress situations that they go through that does cause more anxiety and high emotions.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I could see that. I'm going to keep my rating where it's at, but
Okay.
just because I didn't feel like,
No, I didn't have that like tightness in my stomach.
but more
or
it's
any of
like the
that.
circumstances
Yes,
they endure.
absolutely.
Gotcha.
All right, humor.
Okay, humor. This was a 2 for me.
We were close.
Okay, what was yours?
1.75.
Okay, yeah, it's not like overly over the top, but like she mentioned, there's some pranks. It's super funny, and the characters have some moments that they're pretty
They
funny.
do.
They get at each other.
It's kind of laced throughout the shenanigans and the camaraderie of the group. Oh, I loved it, and that was part of the reason why I rated it what I did for humor. All right, spiciness.
Spicy. It's a 3. I want it to be higher. This thing was filled with tension.
And yet her angst was low.
I know. I know. My ratings were very just all over the place this time. There was a lot of tension in this, and then,
I did.
I
did 3.5. We were very close. This was a slow burn.
See, now I want to bump it to 3.5. I
stop.
started to rate it higher because I felt like it was like, woo!
It's a slow burn, but there are several scenes that were descriptive. The tension that you talked about and the chemistry of the two characters, so good.
Yeah.
So that lent to my rating. All right, tears.
This should be higher, and I'm seeing that now. So, okay, I'm going to say 1.5.
Okay.
Too low?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not for you.
No.
I'm just shocked.
Oh,
because
mine was like...
I'm just shocked because we're usually...
I know. I probably should rate it higher. I'll go 1.75, but that's my final. I'm not bumping it any higher. She's looking at me like, you need to raise it. Our heart of stone is
Yes, the heart of stone is broken, you guys.
Yeah.
I gave 4 out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
Oh, I know why you did.
I always expect military romances to be high on the tears. This was no exception. I definitely cried multiple times.
Did you really?
I did.
Okay.
So my heart of stone cracked just a smidge to let some tears out several times. Yeah.
I did not cry.
Oh my gosh.
I know. What's wrong with me?
I don't know. Are you feeling okay?
I was just happy when I was reading. I don't know. I was just happy. I will say I stand by your ratings because there are definitely some things, and typically I rate the way you do. Because it's not, even if I don't cry, it's what they're enduring. I should probably rate it higher. I won't. I'm going to keep it where it's at. Yeah.
All right, overall.
We'll dig more. Overall, this was a 4.25 for me. It was just a solid story. It was so good. I was hooked from beginning. I loved it.
I gave this one a 5, folks.
What?
I gave it a 5. Books that make me feel all types of emotions, as you know, are my favorite ones. They are going to get higher ratings for me. This was just a really beautiful military story. And the characters felt like friends, and I just loved it so much.
I'm just so proud that she cried, guys. We got her.
It took a while.
Yeah.
I've had a few that have made me cry lately.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, that concludes our spoiler-free quick review of this story. Now we're going to shift into the deeper book discussion. It's going to include lots of spoilers. If you haven't read this story, go check it out. And then if you'd like to continue the deeper discussion with us, simply click the link below, or you can find us on any available podcast platform by searching Postbook Depression. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this story. You can find us on social media on Instagram at Postbook Depression Podcast, on Facebook in our Postbook Depression discussion group, and you can also email us at postbookdepressionpodcast@gmail.com.